Lesson 8-1, Multiply Fractions by Fractions. By the end of today's lesson, you will be able to multiply fractions by fractions using the GCF to simplify when possible. Make sure you have a piece of paper and a pencil ready so you can take your notes and work right along with me. To multiply a fraction by a fraction, first multiply the numerators, then multiply the denominators, and last write the fraction in simplest form. So let's take a look at how that looks using our fractions. So we have 2/3 times 3/8. So we first multiply the numerators. That would be 2 times 3 equals 6. Then our denominators. 3 times 8 equals 24. Now we need to do this into simplest form. So I know 6 goes into 24 evenly. So I'm going to divide them both by 6. And I get 6 divided by 6 equals 1. And 6 goes into 24 4 times. So 1/4 is the answer to 2/3 times 3/8. You can also use the greatest common factor, or the GCF, to multiply a fraction by a fraction. So first you would divide any numerator and denominator by their GCF, then multiply the numerators, then the denominators. The product will already be in simplest form. So let's take a look at this using the example from our last problem. So if we have 2/3 times 3/8. An easy way to look at this is I can cross out both of these 3's. I can divide those both by 3 and get 1 and a 1. That makes it super easy. So whenever you see the same digit as a numerator and you see it again as a denominator, cross those out and make them 1's, because then multiplying by 1 is way easier. Now we can also cross cancel these 2 and the 8, because 2 goes into both of those. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. Now I have 1 times 1, which equals 1. 1 times 4 equals 4, and that's the answer that we got earlier, but it's already in simplest form, which is way cool. Let's take a look at 4/15 times 5/6. So our first step will be, let's see if we can use the greatest common factor for any of these and reduce them down. I see a 5 up here and a 15 here, and know that 5 goes into both of those. So 5 goes in here 1 time, and in here 3 times. Then into my 4 and 6, I can use a 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 2 goes into 6 3 times. Now I have 2 times 1 on the top is 2. Sorry, I was looking at the 3's. 2. And then 3 times 3 equals 9. So our answer is 2/9. Let's take a look at one more. So here, remember I said always look to see if you have the same number in a numerator and a denominator, because those you can cross out and make 1's, because they divide by themselves, and then that makes it even easier. So I'm going to cross those off and make them 1's. 3 goes into 3 1 time. Then I take a look at my 2 and my 4, and I can cancel those out and divide those both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now on the top, I have 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2 is 2. So 1/2 is my answer for that one. Take a look at 7/18 times 3/5. I want you to try that one on your own and come back and see how you did. So if I take a look at this, I know 3 goes into 18 evenly. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 18 divided by 3 equals 6. I can't do anything with my 7 and my 5, so that's as far down as I can go. So now I multiply. 7 times 1 is 7, and 6 times 5 is 30. 7/30 is that fraction in simplest form. I want you to go ahead and try this one on your own as a challenge, and then I'll go over it with you. But remember, as long as you see a number that numerator and a denominator that have a greatest common factor, you can reduce any of those along the way. So go ahead and try it and then come back and check your answer. So I'm going to take a look here, and I have 3 and a 6. 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 two times. Here I have a 2 and a 4. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. That's as much as I can reduce because I'm left now with ones all on the top, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and do our multiplication. So I have 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 2 is 4 times 5 is 20. 1/20. Is that what you were able to get to? Let's try one more. So now I want you to try 5/12 times 4/5 times 2/3 and come back and check it. So as I take a look here, I've got a 5 and a 5, so I can make those ones. Now I have a 2 up here and a 4 up here. I can choose one of them. I think I'm going to do my 4 to go with the 12. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and 4 goes into 4 one time. So now I have 1 times 1 times 2, which gives me 2. And on the bottom I have 3 times 1 times 3, which equals 9. So 2/9 is that in simplest form. Go ahead and rewatch any parts of today's video before you head on and do your math work.